Hi guys, and welcome back to another Tech Minds video. Now, I made a video on another product similar to this a few months ago, and essentially this is an automatic antenna switch. Now, it may not be for everybody, but it kind of does serve a purpose. And what it essentially allows you to do is have one radio connected to 3 different antennas and have the antenna switch automatically switch to a different antenna depending on the input frequency. So this unit supports up to 1 radio and up to 3 antennas, and it automatically switches between them based on that frequency that you're transmitting on. So first you can connect 3 single band antennas and assign each one a specific frequency band. Now once that's set, the switcher automatically selects the correct antenna as you change bands on your radio. Now it doesn't do this via cat control, it does it by RF sensing. Now, if you're running 1 multi-band antenna and 2 single-band antennas, the unit will intelligently route frequencies that aren't designed to that single-band antenna straight to the multi-band antenna. Also, if you just want to run a single antenna, and you can do that too, the unused ports are automatically closed and frequency detection is disabled if you set it in the menu. So using something like this means there's no switches to switch, no patch cables to change, and it's pretty much all automatic. Now it is rated at less than 100 watts, so unless you're going to be using this in front of an amplifier, you probably don't really want to use this much more than the rated power levels. Now the specs say it needs a minimum input power of 15 watts to accurately detect that frequency. Now there is a front panel, and on that front panel there's a couple of buttons. There's also a screen and a power off switch. The screen does look a little bit dim in this light here in the studio with my studio lights on it and the camera that I'm using, but it does actually look a lot better in the dark. Of course it does, because, well, you know. Now apparently it does have VSWR protection as well, but I guess you kind of need to be looking at the device itself to realise that it's gone into VSWR protection, although your radio will probably tell you that it's got highest WR anyway. The specifications in the manual actually says don't run it with a high VSWR for more than 5 seconds, otherwise you could potentially melt the components. Now the specs on the website say it covers from 3 MHz to 30 MHz, and it requires between 9 to 15 volts DC to supply power to it. Now I was kind of wondering, where would this really be useful? I guess if you were to trust an item like this, then it could be quite useful for remote operations. Maybe you want to remote into your station and use different antennas, which are for different bands, but you don't want to have the hassle of also having a remote switch. So I think in that scenario, it could work quite well. Okay, so let's just do a quick demonstration. So I've got my ICOM 7300 Mark II connected up, and I've got 2 antennas plugged into the TXKG3 automatic antenna switch. I've got end-fed half-wave is connected on port A, 10-meter vertical antenna on port B, and 100-watt dummy load on port C. So we use the buttons on the front to assign which band to which port we want, like this. Press this button here, it gets into the menu. As you can see, at the moment we've got 7 MHz assigned to port A, 29 MHz assigned to port B, 20 meters to port C. If we want to change that, press here, and we can go through each of the different bands and assign it. Now, as I said before, so I've got 7, which is 7 MHz. 10 meters is on there, and 20 meters is on there. So the radio is currently tuned to 80 meters. And the antenna connected doesn't say actually, so I'm going to change bands. I'm going to go to 7 MHz. And as you can see, there's like nothing on the waterfall. Now, when I speak into the microphone briefly, it should switch now to the end-fed half-wave. Test 1, 2, 1, 2. And there we go. You can see that it's now switched to output A. 7 MHz. And you can see the bands come alive. Now let's also try 10 meters. So my end-fed half wave does actually work on 10 meters, but the vertical antenna does work a bit better. So if I just whistle, I suppose, that should now trigger it to go over to 10 meters. And there we go. And that's now switched to antenna port B, which is my 10 meter vertical antenna. So now just to demonstrate going to port C, I'm going to go to 20 meters, which we know is actually connected to a dummy load. Okay, now the 10 meter antenna that actually does kind of work on receive, which is why we can see stuff there at the moment, but because it's still connected to port B at the moment. So let me just whistle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you can see, that's now connected to output C, which is the dummy load. And you can see the power level going up there and the SWR as well showing on that display. Now, from my testing, I don't think it should really be used with the dummy load. There seems to be some kind of strange interference or too much RF close to it, and it confuses it. But you can see. Now, if I switch to 80 meters, we'll see if we can trigger the highest WR alert. There should be no antennas literally selected for this band. Non-HF stop TX. That's because it's flashing that because it doesn't know where to route my signal, because I'm transmitting on 80 meters and it doesn't know where to put it. I'm going to change it to port A. And now I'm going to try 80 meters. And now we'll see what happens when I try talking on 80 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we go, highest WR. It's flashing. That's because it's routed to the end-fed half wave, which doesn't actually support 80 meters. So it kind of works. Now, I haven't got a manual for this. I think it would be really good if I could choose more than one band to go to the same port. But unfortunately, I don't think that's possible from going through the menu. Now, for those of you that do like to see inside all of these cool little gadgets, then here you go. This is inside. Notice to the left, actually, there's a resistor attached to the casing there. Now, I presume that's for when it goes into high VSWR mode. It has to dump the RF somewhere, and I think that possibly could be it. Obviously, without a squirk kit, it's very difficult to safe 100%. Also, all of the PCB has kind of been pushed into this box here, so it's very difficult to get into to show you every single part without taking the back off. And to be honest, I really don't want to destroy it. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about it. I know what some of you are going to say already without even reading the comments, but I think this is being sold at the moment for just over $100. If you want to get one of these, then I'll put a coupon in the description as well, so you can get a little bit of money off. Not too sure how much you're going to get off from it, but let us know if you do get one, or if you've already got one yourself. Until the next video, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next video.